So we have discussed about the branch penalty, and we have seen that how we can minimize the branch penalty a little bit. Now see, uh, we have seen that this branch penalty, the minimizing early calculation of the branch target address in the decode stage cannot be a solution, right? And we have seen that we can do this. That means somehow we have to find some alternative, and we have seen that the one of the most important alternative can be instruction queue and prefetching. Now, question is that what is instruction queue and prefetching? So let's start this one. So what basically we will learn is instruction queue sorry, instruction queue and prefetching. This instruction queue and prefetching is actually you can say a little modification on the basic uh, basic idea of a pipeline stages. Generally, what we know how a pipeline look like. Till now, we have seen that pipeline have these four stages, which are straightforward connected with each other, right? Something like this. This is then sorry decode followed by execute, then write back. So this is a diagram of a generic pipeline, right? Now, in case of instruction queue and prefetching, this diagram will be little bit modified. I will add some extra hardware in this design. Let's see how we can do this. So I will keep the stages as it is, okay, but I will add a hardware in between in between this fetch and decode stage, such that your diagram will become, this is your fetch stage, then a decode stage, then execution stage, and write back stage. What we will do, we will add a new hardware, what we call this is what actually a queue. Okay, this is what we call a queue, and how the connections will work. It will be connected something like in this way. Instead of direct connection between fetch and decode stage, I will do it via this queue, and other connections remain same as it was. Okay, and what is this? This is what we call instruction prefetch queue. Okay, now what is this? This is a queue where all the prefetch instructions are stored temporarily. What I mean to say? I mean to say is that up till now, in case of generic pipeline, we have seen that the instructions come in a pipelining, it's fetched. After fetching, the instruction go to the decode stage, it is decoded, then executed, then written back. And in this case, what happened? after fetching and before decoding, it is temporarily stored within the queue, and from the queue it goes to the decode stage and other things happen as it was. So naturally question will come that how we can get the benefit from this. You will see that this instruction prefetch queue helps. It doesn't actually stops you from stalling, but with respect to the instruction hazard, you will see it will help you to keep the overall execution in the same time. For example, let's see how it will work. So if this is a diagram, let's take an example. So suppose there is a situation, something like I have a number of instructions like I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, okay, uh, say I7, and then say IK plus 1 like this. Now we will see, suppose that there is here the condition is that this I5 is the branch instruction, okay, and this IK is the branch target, okay, and we will still have something more, like we will draw the clock cycles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on. Okay, so this is my clock cycle. And we have one more thing we will watch, that is the what we call instruction queue. Okay, how many instructions are stored at that clock cycles within the instruction queue? That is this one, this one, this one. Okay, so let's try to realize this. You see, suppose assume that this I1 is a longer length instruction. Okay, longer length instruction means it will take more time to execute in an execution stage. Okay, so if we consider like this, you see the instruction 1 will be fetched first, right? And after fetching, at that time what will happen? You will have one instruction in the instruction queue, okay, and after say first clock cycle, when it will go for the decoding stage, it will go for the decoding stage means the from the queue it will go to the decode stage, so queue become empty, but at the same time instruction 2 enters in the pipelining, right? That means after fetching this one it will enter in the queue, so ultimately it will nullify, so the number of instruction that remain 1, right? One instruction came out from the from the instruction queue to decoder, and next instruction came from fetch to instruction queue, so ultimately the total number of instruction within the queue remain 1. Similarly, after in third clock cycle it has started executing, right? It has started executing, and obviously I2 will start decoding. So when I2 started decoding means the instruction 2 from the instruction queue go to the decoder, so instruction queue become empty, but at the same time instruction 3 entered in the pipelining, right? So that means the total number of instructions remain 1 again, right? Now see, I'm assuming that this I1 is a longer length instruction, so that means it is busy with the instruction execution again at 4th clock cycle also. So naturally decode will not proceed. Fetching will not proceed for decoding. That is fine. But you see, with respect to this diagram, since I have multiple location in this queue and only one instruction is stored in this queue, that means there is several memory space are left which are blank at that moment. So that means although decoder is stopped, decoder is not working, I mean decoder is holding the previous instruction, fetch unit will continue fetching the next instruction, right? Fetch unit will not stop, right? Similarly, it will execute the this instruction again. It stop, it again stop, it's also stop, because after fetching now what's happening? Since this one happened, then that means total number of instruction present in the instruction queue become 2, right? Become 2, because fetching has done but it has not gone for decoding part in this case. So fetched instruction present in the queue, the next instruction came and fetched present in the queue, it become 2, fine. And after this you see at the same time in the 5th clock cycle again it has started fetching instruction 5, right? It is fetching instruction 5 and you see it becomes 3, right? Now after say 5th clock cycle, suppose the execution of the instruction 1 completes, so it will go for the write back stage. As soon as it will release the execution stage will be, you know, the execution of I2 will start, right? Similarly, decode of instruction 3 will start, and you see still fetching of instruction, the decode of instruction 5 cannot start, then 4 cannot start, not even 5, but fetching of instruction 6 will start, because fetching does not depend upon the status of the decoder, because in between fetching, fetch unit and decoder unit we have the queue which is free, where you can store the prefetch instruction. So what will happen? You see one instruction has gone for a decoder, that means one instruction out from the queue, but another instruction came in the queue because of this, so that means number of prefetched instruction remain free, right? Now you see after decoding, you see after this what will happen? It will go for the instruction 1 completes, instruction 2 will start for write back, instruction 3 will start for execute, fine, and instruction 4 will start for the decode, instruction 4 will start for the decode, and then instruction 5 is still not possible to decode right now, this one, and instruction 7 entered in the pipeline for fetching, right? So again one instruction came from the queue, go for the decoder, and one instruction came, number of instruction remains 7, right? And you see after this what will happen? When the decode of instruction after the decode of instruction 5, I'm sorry, now here in the 8th clock cycle, your write back of instruction 3 will start, execution of instruction 4 will start, and decode of instruction 5 will start. This one, and it has started fetch the instruction key, right? Fine. Now see, when So total number of prefetched instruction remains 3. Fine. Now see, when after completion of this decoding in the 8th clock cycle, the processor will realize that this I5 is the branch instruction, right? And now what you have to do? It has to calculate this branch target address, right? So, and if we assume that branch target address is calculated in the execution stage even, then that means execution of the instruction 5 will start. And obviously, a write back of instruction 4 will start at the moment. So when execution of instruction 5 started, you see decode of uh, instruction 6 started, right? Decode of instruction 6 started. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Since execution of instruction 5 started for calculating the branch target, and before that already pipeline realized that this is the branch instruction, that means surely the instructions that are present in the pipelining are basically unwanted instructions. So all the instructions are running within the pipe will be stopped. But problem is that they have not yet started for decoding, right? They have not yet started for decoding. What happened? You see, instruction 6, instruction 7 and instruction K. All these instructions are fetched and stored within the prefetch queue, right? They have not yet started decoding. So what pipeline will see? Pipeline will see that since they have not yet started decoding, so they don't need to come up, right? What we can do? We can calculate this branch target at this time. That is a 9 clock cycle, right? And after doing this, when the execution completes, it will get this one. I'm sorry. I'm not assuming that in executions. I'm sorry. There is a mistake. I'm assuming that. Let's write the assumption. The branch target address is calculated in the decode stage. As we have seen in the previous case, you see, we have seen this one. The branch target address is calculated in the decode stage, right? In the decode, this one. In the decode stage, right? So in the similar way, if we stick into this particular assumption, so basically execution of this I5 is no more required, because after D5 already the processor have idea where to jump, and that is basically this location from I5 to IK. Now since all these I5, I6 and IK are in the instruction prefetch queue, but they have not yet started for decoding, so what will happen? The decoder unit will basically will discard this I6 and I7 from the queue and will take IK from the queue for the decoding at this moment, and then it will get executed and then return back the result. And similarly for the next instruction, if I assume that there is no such dependency between the instruction K and instruction K plus 1, that means it will continue something like this, right? Now you see what basically what benefit we will get in this situation. Let's see. You see, since I5 was branch instruction, so if we consider the order was correct, That means if we assume that we had a instruction something like this, instruction 1, then instruction 2, then instruction 3, instruction 4, instruction 5, and then immediately we had instruction k. Just forget about the branching and all. Okay, if we have like this, and the clock cycles are something like this, oh sorry, so on. So what will happen? It will start executing fetch, it will fetch, decode, execute, 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 write back. This was the scenario for instruction 1. Similarly for instruction 2 it will be fetch, decode, sorry, fetch 2, decode, stop, stop, execute 2, write back. Similarly instruction 3 means fetch, 3, then decode is not possible, so decode, execute, write back. Similarly fetch must be possible because after fetching it is going for instruction queue. Decoding is running, not possible, but decoding, decoding of 4th, execution of 4th, write back of 4th. Instruction 5 will continue fetching over here, right? Although it will not be able to decode, but it will remain fetched, and then decode will start immediately when this execution will start of the 4th instruction. Execution, write back. Sorry. And then IK. So IK will start execute fetch, then not possible, decode, EK, and WK. Right. So if you compare this scenario, you will see that basically, just a minute. Uh, yes, I think 8, 9, 9, 10, 11. Oh, just a minute. I have drawn the diagram correctly. When the I5 is decoded, when the I5 is decoded, at that time fetching happened and execute. Yes, correct. But I think there was a mistake. You see, if you think, just a minute, let me check it. If I started in 5th clock cycle, let's say the life started, and 8th clock cycle, then decode, clock cycle, 9th clock cycle execute. I think there was a mistake. Just a minute. There was a mistake on the time cycle. Let's check it. Just a minute. I5 started on 5th clock cycle, then 6, 7, 8 clock cycle decode. here in clock cycle echo. No. Oh. My mistake is here. That is why I could not manage. So it will be 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Yes. You see, when this IK has completed on 11th clock cycle, right? On 11th clock cycle, this IK has completed. On 10th clock cycle, you can say your I5 can complete it like this, right? Here, if you compare, this IK has completed on again 11th clock cycle. You see, all the interesting point is that although I had a data instruction hazard, we had some stalling over there. We were not able to restrict the stalling, but the overall execution time remains same. So the as an observation, what we can say, the observation we can say that although, I mean, okay, let's write the observation in this one over here. Observation for the instruction prefetch queue uh, technique, that is, although there was a control hazard because of unconditional branch instruction and we are not able to restrict the pipeline to stall. You see, stalling is happening because you see this particular on 4th or 5th clock cycle, your decode is holded by previous instruction. In some cases, execution stage is holded by some instruction. That's why bubble is there. You cannot restrict the stalling, but it is not it is not affecting the overall execution time. Overall execution time means if we consider it was the order, actually this is not the order, right? Because actual order is like this: I1, I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, I7, then IK, or maybe more, then IK. But if we forget about I6, I7 because that's what unwanted instruction, then also if we consider, I will see that ultimately I'm getting the result of this branch target address on 11th clock cycle, which is same for this case also. So that means my overall execution time is not changing. So due to this control hazard, I'm able to restrict to waste the time with respect to the overall execution time. And here the success of this instruction prefetch queue. So this is actually this this is this scenario. I mean the benefit we get because of instruction prefetch queue is called branch folding. Okay, this is called branch folding. So this instruction prefetch queue is a very fruitful solution we can see for uh, overcoming the problem that we can face for unconditional branch, right? So in the next class we will discuss about the other type of branching cases, for example conditional branch, and other difficulties that we can face in that situation. Thank you.